Hey everyone, I'm Madonna Guy and this is New Leaf Natural Therapies. I wanted to chat about a couple of my favorite supplements at the moment because there's so many people with sensitive guts, sensitive immune systems, hyperactive autoimmunity that once people start trying to add in natural therapies, a lot of the time things are getting overwhelmed and it's really easy for people to not know whether things are detoxifying, whether they're having a side effect to something, whether or not they are working, especially when they're feeling worse after them. So I thought I'd chat about some of my favorites because they work on so many things in the body, that at least we can add them in slowly and get some good bang for your buck in the background. So I don't know whether I'll manage to get all of the links for all of these here. For a start, anyone in Australia who wants to be linked to my online dispensary for Metagenics, let me know. If I have your email, I can send you a link. If anyone wants to buy things like Stem Enhance and Plasma Flow and Cyactive Wholesale, let me know. I can send you a link. But, basically, I do have links for a few of these things just to be a bit cheaper. But that's okay. So let's talk about why people might have side effects with supplements. For a start, maybe they are detoxing way too fast. And since the last 5 years and all the medical interventions that people have been forced to do around the planet, it is messing with lots of different detox pathways in the body. There's no doubt about that. So we know that some people we need to start really slowly. So therefore, I have to think, what's happened to people's, have we messed with their genes? Have we flipped them into being pro-inflammatory human beings? Have we flipped them into autoimmunity so that their immune system's hyperactive? You've got that little ADHD immune system that's trying to attack everything that comes in. So one of the things that I really like, as you would probably know, is my zeolite. So this is Detox. I've got another one in a powder, another one in tablets, and then I've got one about 3 times the price that it crosses the blood-brain barrier. I believe this one crosses the blood-brain barrier, but apparently there's other people that disagree with me. I just know what it does for the brain. So anyway, so the thing about zeolites are when they're fully cleansed, because most of them aren't, they help to pull out the worst heavy metals from the body. So if every cell in the body's got 500,000 receptor sites, so if we've got things like aluminium, mercury, thallium, barium, tin and all sorts of things in their silver, then basically that can be blocking your nutrients from getting into your cells and your waste products from getting out. So that's one thing. So I love my zeolite products, and it's often a go-to if someone is having issues, because if someone's having issues, there's something blocking enzyme pathways or detox pathways, or something's flipped the genes, and heavy metals have a really high charge. Our cells are little electrical human beings, so we need something to be able to upregulate the electrical charge in cells so that more nutrients get in and more waste products go out. So zeolites is one thing. Another one is good old BrocShots. So this is an Australian brand. It's somewhere between 4 and 12 times more effective than just about any others on the market. If I can find the link, I'll add it to the description. But basically what this one does is switches on at least 1,000 genes to be anti-inflammatory, pro-detox, anti-cancer, youthful, anti-aging sort of things as well. So it's a really nice pain reliever. So it's just one of those things that helps to switch your genes back on. If we are in a pro-inflammatory state, sometimes we need a kickstart. And that can be one a day is generally around what people need. But if we are really inflamed, you can easily do a couple a day. Lots of people are doing parasite cleanse at the moment. There's a million parasite things. I'm not going to talk about those things like ivermectin, fenbendazole, menbendazole. I've got Parex and Intestamine and Intesticlear and, Parexel, lots and lots and lots of really good parasite and intestinal detoxes. If you feel like you are dying when you are doing this, sometimes as we're blowing up these little parasites, they can self-destruct into 10 to 30 pieces. Each piece can be nearly 30 times more inflammatory than the parasite as a whole. So if that's you and you've got, oh my God, I've tried Bactrex or Parex or ivermectin or Parexel or something and you feel bloated and icky, that's a sign your body isn't getting rid of the inflammatory cytokines that's been upregulated because you've done something and you've blown up some little parasites. So in the Metagenics range, there's something called ultra probioplex capsules. So what they do is help to sop up those LPSs, those lipopolysaccharides. So they sop up that so that, and once again, dose depends on you. So you could maybe lower the price by having, say, that and some slippery elm. So each time you have a meal or your anti-parasitic stuff, have, say, 1 or 2 of these and 1 or 2 slippery elm. So you're calming and soothing things as well as sopping it up. Just a thought. So that's a really nice little combination to do slippery elm and ultra probioplex capsules if you're doing parasite cleanses and just feel really bad throughout it. As always, the best bang for your buck with parasite cleanses, especially since it may or may not be ongoing for the rest of our life since they're messing with our food so much and our skies and our waterways and everything. So around a week, around the full moon is your best bang for your buck for doing parasitic cleanses. So yeah, so in Australia, things like Bactrex, Parex, Intesticlear, Parexel, lots of really good things around for that sort of thing. I love the fulvic acid, and you just want a really clean fulvic acid. So that's like laying down your layer of your garden so that everything grows really well. So fulvic acid is really beautiful for building the environment where your microbiome lives in your gut. So different from pro and prebiotics, different from zeolite, even though it does have a bit of a charge. So the fulvic acids do have a bit of charge, but it's not the same as zeolite. Zeolite has a really high charge. I think it's really positively charged, and a lot of things are it's negatively charged, but a lot of the heavy metals are really positively charged. Whereas fulvic acid, it's quite a low charge. So it's more laying down, some really nice building blocks for what we need. And the other thing that we can do when we're really sensitive little human beings and supplements and things just aren't working is the redox signaling molecules. So either taking it internally. It is funny because the more toxic we are, the more like pool water it tastes. So I haven't taken any for weeks, and normally, because I've been taking it on and off for 3.5 years, normally mine just tastes like tap water, which I'm not fussed on tap water. I would never drink tap water, but I know this isn't that. These are trillions and trillions of redox signaling molecules, which are identical to the smallest molecule your body makes. So they're nano size, they can cross every membrane in the body. So once we start getting this into the body, any cell in the body that requires it can start activating the ability to create more and more redox signaling molecules, because it allows every cell that it touches to renew, regenerate, and detoxify. So that's a really nice one. And the equivalent externally is the RENEW28. So again, I'll try to find the link and have that in the description below. But the RENEW28 is the external version of the redox signaling molecules. So whether or not you're in pain, whether or not you want to use it for wrinkles, whether or not you want to use it on an area that you're in pain, so tummy pain or chest pain or, lymphatic pain. I'm not paranoid, but every time I feel any twinges in the body and say the breast tissue or something like that, my body just goes and grabs this instantly. And 3 applications in 5 minutes increases local circulation by 50%. There's another one that I'm out of in this range called Redox Gold, which is amazing. So what it is, it upregulates NRF2 pathways in the body. Yeah, so when we upregulate our NRF2 pathways, people have got less inflammation, less pain. So the redox signaling molecules, they absolutely upregulate the NRF2 pathways. The broccoli seed sprout extracts, they also upregulate the NRF2 pathways. Bioresonance frequencies upregulate the NRF2 pathways. So lots of things. The RENEW28, it upregulates the NRF2 pathway. So this new gel is called Redox Gold. You use it externally, and within 1 to 15 minutes, there's usually a reduction in pain. So just amazing. So it's, again, I'll have a link in there. And really, compared to the amount of money that people spend on chiros and massage therapists, if you get it and you rub that in, and to be able to get relief between 1 and 15 minutes, and quite often really quickly, every time you do it, you're upregulating the NRF2 pathways in that particular area of your body which allows it to start to heal. So even if it might not be the first time or the third time or the fifth time, one of the ladies in a redox group that I'm part of, her partner was in hospital and his lungs were starting to fail. And so he used the Redox Gold gel on his chest. So he was basically being sent home. Well, you know, he was not going to make it 4 days, is what they were told in hospital. So they used the Redox Gold on his chest every 2 hours. 4 days later, he walked out of hospital. So sometimes things that don't seemingly have solutions do have solutions. And, you know, because we can use things like this externally, the Redox Gold externally, and I'm just sort of thinking about the damage of people around the world at the moment. There's lots of other solutions. We can put this in a spray bottle and spray it anywhere on the body to just get some of that. If someone is not able to swallow, you know, can use that externally. The other really nice thing that upregulates a whole bunch of genetic pathways in the body is the matured hop spitter extracts. So in these little bundles of joy, supposedly it's working on the visceral fat in the body, but that's not what most of the people that I'm using it with are using it for. Is for the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve, these are matured hop spitter extracts, and the vagus nerve is around every single organ of the body. So the heart, the lungs, the digestive tract, the bowels, the liver, the kidneys, the gallbladder, the pancreas. So if you are under stress constantly and you have an atonic vagus nerve, this can help to start to pick up those things. So your gut issues might be because your vagus nerve isn't working, and your vagus nerve is all around your gut because of stress. Your gut might not be working because your genes have been flipped. So your genes might be flipped into anti-digestion, pro-toxin, and inflammatory. So this helps to switch on the genes that allows us to detox, renew, regenerate. The redox signaling molecules, if we're having health issues, we are deficient in redox signaling molecules. When we are not repairing our cells in the body, oh, where's the other one? I was going to, just a sec. Oh yeah, there it is. So the stem enhance, so we need about 4 a day as a general rule. As we get older, our cells stop making as many stem cells. I don't know whether you've heard the research, but since the medical interventions the last few years, a lot of babies are being born without any stem cells in their umbilical cords, which is just mind-blowing. So that's one of the awful things that they're finding as a side effect of the things the last few years that people have been forced to do. So, but every time we take 2 stem enhance, it releases between 4 and 12 million stem cells from the bone marrow out into the bloodstream within 40 minutes. So when I had my torn muscles, my torn hammies a few months ago, which were excruciating, 10 out of 10 in pain, I was taking between 3 and 18 of these a day. So yes, that's a lot. And yes, that cost a lot of money. But it was something that I could feel if I took 3 of them at a time, then I would have several hours less pain. I was also taking a lot of redox signaling molecules to help it to heal. But because it was a tear, it really felt like something the stem cells were hugely involved with. And the other thing that showed up at the time, and I'm sure you've seen my videos, but basically between 6 and 18 vitamin A capsules a day, with each one with 10,000 international units. So that was between 60 and 180,000 international units of vitamin A a day. You need vitamin A as a precursor to collagen as well. So just a couple of, so there are a couple of my little favorite supplements for people who just aren't getting the benefit out of things that you're taking. You know, some people are just getting sensitive with turmerics and B vitamins and N-acetylcysteines and lipoic acids and vitamin C's and all sorts of things. And then anyway, so hopefully that's helpful. If I've forgotten any of the links, send me a thing and say, where's the link? So, and I'll see if I can help. Okay, take care. Bye.